That's right, I'm going to be ranking every single member of the Phantom Troupe. That includes current, former, and dead members. Though, not the movie one, because nobody actually cares about him. But without any further ado, let's get into the video. At the bottom of the list, we have Ctopi. Yeah, I don't think anyone's surprised by this. Not only does he have twigs for arms, but he's also a non-combatant. In fact, the only time I heard someone try to give him a win con in a battle was just saying he could confuse his enemy by making buildings like he did in Yorknew and running away. Huh? Not only does his ability have a charge up time, but we can assume he isn't that fast. This guy just sucks in combat. So, he's going into the number 15 spot. Next up, and slightly less worse, we have Kaluto Zoldyck. I'm going to be real, but I actually forgot that he was even part of the Phantom Troupe. But anyway, even some of the weakest Phantom Troupe members can at least perceive Zazan and Feton fighting, and that's something he can't do. The only reason he's above Ctopi is because he's got actual feats, has an offensive ability, and assassin training. For the number 13 spot, we have Pakunoda. She's one of the founding members of the Phantom Troupe, but sadly, she's still pretty weak. She doesn't have an offensive ability, which doesn't help her. She's also shown to do worse against Gonin Killua than Machi, even when she had a warning. Granted, it was barely even a second, but that should be more than enough time to at least activate your aura defenses. So that's why she gets put this low on the list. The next spot belongs to another supporting character, being none other than Shizuku. Shizuku, while still not the strongest, has a Nen ability that is way more built for offense than both Ctopi and Pakunoda combined, while also being shown to, at least, have superior reaction time to Kaluto. Though if you really want to, you could put her below Kaluto, because he did better against his officer ant than she did, but not all officers are made the same, so I'm going to keep her at the number 12 spot. The 11th spot belongs to Shaarch. While having a good Nen ability for controlling and even fighting with his autopilot mode, it isn't amazing. His needle isn't even able to pierce a strong peon, which, even if we highball it and say it's equal to a low tier officer in strength, it still isn't helping Shaarch's case. And his autopilot ability has no showings, so I just can't place him any higher. Finally, finishing off the support characters in the Phantom Troupe, we have Machi. While not having the most offensive ability, she's still able to use it for combat, and she's clearly at least meant to be strong. Because she did way better than Pakunoda when it came to catching Gon and Killua. She participated in the Mafia massacre without needing assistance, unlike Shizuku, and though the arm wrestle rankings don't count Nen, your strength is aura plus base stats. So the fact she's ranked number 6 is very impressive. So I think the number 10 spot belongs to her. Now, the following 4 characters are almost, if not just straight up featless, so most of the following is going to be guesswork. So if you believe that the person I have at the bottom of the list should be swapped with someone at the top, I might disagree, but there isn't really much to go on. Coming in at number 9, we have Benolov. While Benolov is no doubt a strong Nen user, he has one fatal weakness. His ability is easily countered. In order for him to use any of his abilities, he needs to perform a complicated dance, which could be disrupted by someone attacking. It also doesn't help that his only feat is defeating an officer class ant with his strongest ability, when Finks did the same thing with what seems to be a much more durable officer ant. Speaking of Finks, he gets the number 8 spot. Though he is extremely strong, has a simple but good Hatsu, and is second only to the walking beefcake that is Uvugan in the arm wrestle ranking, I just can't place him any higher. There's no particular reason I can give you for why he can't go any higher. It's just that the people above him are better. An example of a character who belongs above Finks would be Franklin at number 7. Franklin is a very simple but good Hatsu, similar to Finks. But Franklin not only has a dual affinity, making him just as good at enhancement as he is at emission, meaning he can keep up physically with Finks, while also fighting at range, he also is able to compete with Nobunaga, who is considered to be part of the same combat squad that consists of Finks and Uvugan. So I think Franklin deserves this spot. Next up, at the number 6 spot, rounding out the mid tiers, we have Nobunaga. Nobunaga is an enhancer who is relative to the 3 other members I just finished ranking, while also showing in recent chapters to be extremely smart and skilled, which is why I think he is the strongest Phantom Troop member so far. He doesn't compare to the next members. That's right, we are now heading into the top 5. The strongest of the strong, and starting that list off, is Uvugan at number 5. Nobunaga often fought alongside Uvugan, in which Uvugan was stated to be holding back during these team-ups, meaning that the last 4 characters I listed, Finks, Franklin, Benolov, and Nobunaga, are all inferior to Uvugan by a noticeable margin. The only way they could win against him is their hacks, which, if you haven't noticed, they don't have a lot of. In fact, Uvugan is so strong, there are only 2 reasons he isn't any higher. And that's because I think the other members are just barely better fighters, and Uvugan has a bit of an ego. There's a reason Uvugan has a bad matchup against manipulators and conjurers, and it's because he lets himself get hit a lot. In fact, if Uvugan had just kept his ego in check and gone all out against Kurapika, he could have won pretty easily. I mean, look at what Uvo did to Kurapika's arm. Now imagine that was his head. Now, for the number 4 place, we have someone with much less of an ego, that being Feton. Feton has some of the best feats in the Phantom Troop. Being able to take on the strongest squadron leader, make sure to check out that video after this one to realize why she's the strongest. However, Finks and Benolov believe they could take her, which I think is just their ego talking. He's also got a very strong Nan ability called Painpacker, which is stated to have nearly killed the rest of the Phantom Troop and made his co-infused sword strike look like it was wielded by Zushi. Though his Hatsu does have a very big weakness, being its large windup. Any experienced Nen user with less of an ego than Uvugan would immediately take precautions for whatever his attack could do, which is exactly what the next person on this list would do. Starting off the top 3 is Illumi. Illumi is not only a part of the Zoldyck family, which is a feat in itself. Unlike his sibling Kaluto, he's actually strong, and due to his cold, calculating nature, likely caused by his assassin training, he would try to finish any fight as quickly as possible. While Phaeton is enraged, distracted, and speaking in tongues, he could easily get a needle off on Phaeton. All this without even mentioning assassin techniques, which is why I think Illumi takes this win. However, Illumi would fail to assassinate the next member, being none other than the leader of the Phantom Troop, Krollo Lucifer. Krollo not only took on 2 members of the Zoldyck family at the same time, being Silva and Zeno, who are arguably stronger than Illumi, he also did it without even trying to kill him. While I still think if that 2v1 situation was prolonged, Krollo would lose, and that's why he hired Illumi to kill the 10 Dons. It's still an impressive feat nonetheless, especially when it was literally stated by Zeno that Krollo would win in a 1v1. All this doesn't even take into account his genius intellect, which is why Krollo, without prep time, belongs at number 2. Finally, the number 1 strongest member of the Phantom Troop is Hsoka, who, funnily enough, isn't even technically a member of the Phantom Troop. Spoilers real quick for the manga, skip to this timestamp if you want to avoid those, but if not, Hisoka, when fighting Krollo, was not only able to take all of Krollo's physical attacks with basically no damage, but he also was able to dish out damage to Krollo. All this after Hisoka is able to understand and react to Krollo's plan, which took a year to set up, showing equal, if not greater genius to Krollo, while still being able to put up a good fight. And he needed to borrow his friend's abilities, while also, though not confirmed, he is theorized to have been assisted by spiders, who are in the crowd. So, I'm sorry, Krollo fans, but Hisoka takes this. So that's how the entire Phantom Troop stacks up to each other. If you disagree with me, or have any video ideas, be sure to write them down in the comments below. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I made some improvements to the audio, so let me know how those are. Hey, I also wanted to say thank you, Kenny987, for subscribing to my channel. But anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye bye.